Whoops. Hey, it's Whitney from EcoVeganGal.com, and welcome back to another episode of What a Vegan Eats, where I share what I eat on a daily basis. And the first thing that I'm having today is this old favorite, the carob shake. It has just become my go-to sweet treat, or something that I want to have in between food. And it's just really tasty, satisfying, and pretty filling as well. So I was about to say, I would love to know if you try it or have tried it yet, or have done your own versions, because I'm sure this could be improved, and it probably will be, because I just got another big bag of carob. But what's funny is I saw that one of the people that watches made her own version of this just using chocolate, and I'll link to it down below. I'm completely blanking on your name and your website, but I'm gonna give you credit. I thought that was so cool. Although you did mention in your post that that you thought the carob wouldn't be good or wasn't as good as chocolate, and you know, I agree to some extent, but honestly, in a drink like this, it's pretty darn close. I mean, it depends on the type of carob you use. I'm now using a Bob's Red Mill carob, and it's a roasted carob. It's not quite as good as the one I got in bulk at the natural food store. So I would recommend trying a few different types or brands and seeing which one you like best. And then it's all about combining it with the right thing. So with the coconut sugar, that adds the great amount of sweetness, so it takes away the carob bitterness, and it adds like a caramel flavor to it. And then the stevia just kind of takes it up a notch. Wow, I said stevia, not stevia. I have been so purposeful about saying stevia, because someone told me that that's the correct pronunciation years ago, and so I'm always like, gotta say it right, just kind of like Daya versus Daya. I always cringe when I hear people say Daya. Anyways, I also want to point out this beautiful tomato plant that the person I share property with is growing here. It is such a bummer, because I have all these beautiful tomatoes, and I have a lemon tree in my backyard and an avocado tree, and those are three of the things that are not allowed in the low histamine diet. So it's pretty frustrating to have all this beautiful fruit and not be able to enjoy it. Are any of you guys growing stuff in your yards or at your homes? Let me know. It's such a great way to get in touch with your food and to save money. All right, I'm gonna go enjoy this. I've got videos to film for the other channels, and I'll see you later. Just recorded a video and treating myself to these potato wedges, oil-free, with the same spices I used the other day, which I don't know exactly what they are. I got them in a bulk spice store, and they're just called like veggie flavoring or something. But really, really tasty. I found that if I baked it longer, that really helped with the flavor. And if I got the potatoes wet first and really covered them with the flavoring, it made a huge difference. So things are improving. I'm getting better at this low oil and low histamine thing. It's exciting. I've been craving pizza lately, so came to this place called Evo Kitchen, which makes organic, gluten-free, vegan pizza. It's not entirely vegan, but they have a ton of options. Most of their ingredients are organic. It's not going to be oil-free, but I'm really looking forward to having it. And they're able to do the pizza without tomato sauce, so it's low histamine.
I was like, you're going to do it before the pizza and then after.
Thank you.
This is my side. That pizza was actually really good without tomato sauce. I barely missed it, although I did try a little bit with the tomato sauce, and their tomato sauce is killer. If you're trying to go oil-free, you can actually just skip the Daya altogether. It just wouldn't be low histamine. You can just get the tomato sauce and the veggies and all of that. Their crust here is great. If you're in LA, I definitely recommend this place. It's on Sunset Boulevard near Crescent Heights, and the staff is awesome. So there's a little mini restaurant review for you too. I know some people miss those. I don't know if you know this about me, but back in the day on Eco Vegan Gal, it was like all restaurant reviews. And now I'm gonna go on somewhere and maybe get something sweet. I'm probably just gonna end up making the carob shake again. So far I have not had any dessert, which is a good thing. I don't know about you, but it feels like after savory meals, I enjoy having a dessert. It's such a common thing, I suppose, but it's something that I try to be really mindful of. I try to step back and think, do I really want dessert? Or is this just a temporary craving to like balance out the savory with the sweet or something? I don't know, but I ended up going to Trader Joe's after that dinner and I got some applesauce, unsweetened, organic, so I'll be having some of this maybe tonight. I also had some maple water, which I love. It's a really great treat, unsweetened. And I got some great rice. They have organic sprouted rice mixture, and I had it was like maybe white, red, and brown rice combined. I'll tell you more about it when I actually make it. But what I wanted to share with you was an article I just came across that is so interesting. So it's from Dr. Mark Hyman. I'll link to this right down below so you can read it too, who's a doctor I really respect. And I haven't read the whole article yet, but I was just skimming through it to see if I did want to read it. And there are some bullet points here, 5 strategies to reduce cancer formation and growth. And I'm always fascinated with this, long-term health, longevity, and all of that. And I guess I just assume sometimes that I've heard it all before, which is so not true, but I have that in my mind for whatever reason. And I was actually really impressed with what I read here, and I want to share it with you because I've been talking so much about this low histamine diet, and I talk about food sensitivities in general. So his top 5 strategies are: number 1, to ditch sugar, which sounds pretty obvious. Number 2, though, is to eliminate food sensitivities. I was shocked to read this. In a major study in the Journal of the American Medical Association, hidden gluten sensitivity was shown to increase risk of death by 35 to 75%. Mostly by causing heart disease and cancer. More than 20 million Americans are at risk for heart attack, obesity, cancer, and death by this mechanism alone. Dairy and gluten are the most common triggers of food allergies that are linked to insulin resistance. Cutting them out of the diet allows the inflamed gut and an inflamed body to heal. Now, when I cut dairy out of my diet, I've always been sensitive to dairy. And cutting that out of my diet made a huge difference, and of course gluten did as well. But I didn't realize that this could lead to these major illnesses and maybe early death. Now, I don't fully recommend going gluten-free, but he's saying gluten sensitivity. He's not even saying celiac disease here. And I don't know, I think it's worth finding out if you are really sensitive to gluten like I was and had no idea. Number 3, the third tip here, or strategy, is reduce inflammation. And talking about that a little bit, besides removing sugar and food sensitivities like gluten and dairy, we want to eat plenty of anti-inflammatory foods, which sounds obvious as well, but again, the inflammation that I've experienced so much with my food sensitivities, it's important. And number 4 is to improve gut health. Cancer often originates in your gut. Not just colon cancer, but with many cancers. And he says by avoiding inflammatory foods, adding in probiotics, prebiotics, and lots of phytonutrients like curcumin, found in turmeric, and resveratrol, found in grape, can reduce gut-based inflammation. So I just happen to have this sitting right here, but I've been having this every once in a while from these Swedish bitters from Gaia Herbs. I really love these, and this has turmeric root and dandelion root, cardamom, fennel, ginger, kelp, dulse, bitter orange peel. I mean, this is kind of intense for the low histamine, but I guess I could try having it again. I usually will add this to water or like a smoothie or something. So anyways, the 5th one was to reduce toxic exposure, which is something that I talk about on my main Eco Vegan Gal channel. But to me, it's just like, wow, like these type of tips about cancer are so eye-opening. And
the sugar thing is something most people know about, but very few people know that they have food sensitivities or ever even explore that. Very few people are very aware of inflammation. They just think they'll pop an Advil or ibuprofen or whatever it is, aspirin or something. And then gut health is a major epidemic here. And of course, toxic exposure is probably the least thing that people pay attention to. But it's just, I don't know, when I read things like this, I get really fired up. And I feel so glad that I've been paying so much attention to this for years. And then also very compelled to keep spreading the message to other people. So what I would love for you to do is to read this article, see how you feel about it. But if it moves you and you want to share it, I highly recommend it, because you never know who you're going to change. And simply by knowing this information and living this way, you're helping make a difference, not just in your health, but in the world. So with that, I don't know if I'll be eating anything else tonight. This feels like it'd be a really great way to end the night. So let's just say goodbye now, and if I end up eating more, that'll just be a bonus. Okay, bye. Who was I kidding? Of course I was going to eat again. I'm not going to sleep for hours. I decided to try out making the rice that I mentioned earlier. It's the organic sprouted California rice, which is brown, red, and black rice from Trader Joe's. And it came out really, really well. It calls for oil, but I left that out, of course. And I topped it with some salt, garlic powder, and nutritional yeast. It makes for a really nice late night snack. And it'll probably be really good with some vegetables, but chances are I'm going to eat it all before I even buy any vegetables and cook them. We'll see. I'll keep you posted.